Breaking news: Malaysia's education system just hit a new crossroads. Now, back to you in the studio. Thank you, Afifaliana, ladies and gentlemen. And if we look closely to the data, this is not just a policy update. It is an evolution, one that could reshape social mobility for the B40 demographic. Now, let me walk you through what we are seeing. On the access front, huge wins. Primary enrollment at 96, youth literacy near 99%, and that's the foundation of Malaysia educational blueprint. Help to build, and it matters. But then we see this: only 50% of the lessons are delivered effectively. 60% of 15 years old are not hitting minimum math proficiency, and perhaps most telling, only 1 in 6 before the students reach the top income bracket. So here's the question guiding today's discussion. How do we build on the access we have achieved to ensure the quality that unlocks mobility? Now that is exactly what the new Rancangan Pendidikan Malaysia 2006, the RPM, is designed to address. This now is where the story has changes. I want to be clear, this is not just about replacing what came before, this is about evolving. The MEB gave us 11 target shifts, comprehensive, ambitious, necessary, but for mapping the full reform landscape, it set the direction, it got us moving, but that was the right approach for its time. Now, with RPM, we are consolidating into 7 system level trust. Why? Because after a decade of implementation, we have learned where to concentrate effort for maximum impact. It is not less ambition. It is not less ambition. It's sharper the focus. Now notice the language shift from let's half the gap to 100% student must achieve grade C minimum. Not that is a natural next step that translates vision into enforceable standards. From just an aspiration to accountability and the outcome focus, RPM builds what MEB has successfully pushed by saying now they are here, are they really thriving? So this shifting, the measurement shift to proficiency, well-being, and digital to ensure that we are tracking what actually predicts life outcome. Now, finally, EB also launched the momentum with strong energy, while RPM introduced monthly progress update to sustain that energy across political cycles because it is about protecting the investment we have already made. Now, this is, ladies and gentlemen, an evolution, not a correction, taking a strong foundation and sharpening it to a next decade of impact. Now, the three pillars. Each one is designed to create what researchers call an enforceable equity floor for B40 students. First one is academic rigor. 100% of students achieve grade C minimum in BM, English, Math, and Sejarah. This is powerful. An enforceable minimum ensures no student falls below a baseline of opportunity, and to ensures this lifts rather than caps potential, the RPM pairs it with targeted enrichment pathways so that the floors become a launchpad. And secondly, student well-being, where 100% has to reach intermediate socio-emotional wellness. Researchers like Mudir et al. 2023 confirms that non-cognitive skills mitigate the SES achievement gap. By making wellness measurable and mandatory, RPM ensures that schools support the whole student, not just the test scores. And lastly, the digital competency. 100% are equipped with devices, connectivity, and competency. Now, this is where the RPM learns from the past efforts. It is not just about access, though that is funded, it is also about literacy, the urgent investment in teacher training and digital pedagogy. It's also about the cultural relevance, how the localized content for B40 context and indigenous knowledge. And it's also about the empowerment, which to ensure the tech skills translate to real 21st century employability. Because Edu Buhain 2025 notes that digital divide is not one gap, it is four, and the RPM addresses all four, and that is the shift. Now, for the critical takeaway, mandatory minimums. Now, let's unpack the three pillars. Each one is designed to create what the researchers call an enforceable equity floor for B40 student. First one is academic rigor. 100% of the students must achieve grade C minimum in BM, English, Math, and Sejarah. Now, this is a powerful step. An enforceable minimum ensures that no student falls below a baseline of opportunity, and to ensure that this lives rather than just potential, the RPM pairs it with targeted enrichment pathways so that the floors become a launchpad. And second one is the student well-being. 100% must reach intermediate socio-emotional wellness. Researchers like Munir et al. 2023 confirms that non-cognitive skills mitigate the SES achievement gap. By making well-being measurable and mandatory, RPM ensures that schools support the whole student, not just the test scores. And the last one is digital competency. 100% are equipped with devices, connectivity, and competency. This is where the RPM learns from the past efforts. It is not just about access, though that is funded. It is also about first literacy, urgent investment in teacher training and digital pedagogy. The second one is the cultural relevance, how to localize content for before the context and indigenous knowledge, and also empowerment as it ensures that skills translate to real 21st century employability. Because Adu behind 2024 notes that the digital divide is not one gap. It is an enforceable equity floor that is necessary for the social mobility. Now, mandatory minimums across three pillars create the structural equity floor necessary for social mobility, but this is the key. They only work when paired with targeted support. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the strategy meets reality. Yes, the past efforts faced challenges. The infrastructure investment did not always move learning outcomes, said Supiano 2023. Teacher retention in rural areas need attention, and policy complexity sometimes dilutes focus, and that is exactly why RPM includes built-in mitigation. 70% of new resources specifically allocated to Band 6 to Band 7 schools, and formative and summative assessment balances, and also formative and summative assessment balance to support growth, not just judge it, and community co-design to ensure solutions fit the local context. Also, enrichment pathways that is paired with minimum standards to prevent ceiling effect. All right, and the research also backs this approach. Adubuhain, 2026, said that education systems with equitable resource distributes exhibit higher level of social mobility, and there is no equity efficiency trade-off. It is improving mobility directly to boost economic growth, said Nadofer et al. In 2026. So the mandate is not just to hit grade C, it is a hit grade C with the support to go further. So, where does this leave us? Now, the RPM has strong foundations, the theoretical rigor, comparative evidence, clear mandates, but architecture is not just execution. An ultimate success demands a cultural shift, first from bureaucratic compliance to local ownership, and from political cycle to sustained political will, and from top-down mandates to community co-design. And this is not just about policy mechanics. It's about asking who gets to define success. And if we get this right, if we pair enforceable standards with empathetic support, we don't just reform education, ladies and gentlemen, we unlock mobility and we turn access into opportunity. And that is where and that is a story that is worth to be told.